Generating economic doom. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. I want to talk about a video I did yesterday, one I, discussed about a shocking 50% housing crash that has been predicted. Now, this article was not real. It was generated by ChatGPT. It's more than just a great tool to write Python scripts for Blender. It's also great to write, wishy-washy news articles that don't tell you anything. Now, I thought most people would cotton onto it, or at the very least, they would say something after they'd watched enough of the video. Turns out, most people only watched about 5 minutes of the video, and a lot of people didn't realize there was actually no substance behind anything that was being said here. So let's check out a few things. I mean, the Australian property market has been a hot topic for years, with prices skyrocketing in recent times. Okay, I mean, that's not surprising. A new report suggests that markets could experience a significant decline in the coming months. Now, it's saying a new report. Remember, this is a language model, so it's been trained to see what sentences come together and topics and these type of things. So it's seen this before. And now that we think about it, how often are we reading articles where it's a new report, this, or a report from the Grattan Institute, or from this organization, or from that one, says such and such. Now, as a content creator, I've signed up to the journalist outlets so I can get all the media releases. So I can see when these media releases appear from these organizations. They pretty much have completely written articles, and then you start seeing those things appear on websites, on news.com, on ABC, on other places. They use those releases to generate stories. Can't blame them. But we've got to appreciate the fact when we're reading something like this, or when we're looking at the news, what's going on behind the scenes? What are the organizations behind it? There's one I want to draw attention to, like the Grattan Institute. We'll always hear things about them in the media, usually about housing, very left-leaning, very interventionist. But you got to know about them. You got to know their biases and their agenda. I mean, they were really hard for lockdowns. They just loved them. So here we've got suggestions of a report. Now, I thought more people would be mentioning this in the comments. Oh, this is obviously written by AI. Or what bullshit? What report are they talking about? Very few people did. Very few people did, and that kind of worried me. That really worried me. I think a lot of people liked the title. Okay, it was a clickbaity title, a shocking 50% housing crash, a emotive response, a numerical impact, and a fear. All these things coming together, particularly right now with everything that's going on. So maybe that I actually wrote myself. That's my YouTuber experience coming through there. So according to experts, the market could fall as much as 50%. Now, ChatGPT only has data to 2021. It won't generate articles saying housing will fall 100%. It's saying it's not going to happen. Housing will fall 95%. It won't do it. I think I got it up to 80%. Maybe it'll generate it. But it just shows you guys. So the people there that are claiming, it's going to go to 80%, it's going to crash. I mean, even the AI language models think you're full of shit. Okay, they won't do it, because I wanted to see how far I could push it to generate these stories. So you've got here the report, which was published by a leading financial institution. I mean, that's complete bullshit. What financial institution? It wasn't named. It wasn't. What reference is there? How many of these reports, particularly in America, look at all the hoaxes that came out about Trump and the things that people ignored, that they had no corroborating evidence, nothing backing it up. The people were always unnamed. It's all bullshit. Now it's all been proven wrong. Here's another example. I mean, there you go. Okay, financial institution. Who? Where? Why? Where's it coming out? Okay, we've got to be aware of that. A range of factors could contribute to the decline. These include rising interest rates, oversupply of properties, and cooling demand from overseas buyers. You almost can imagine the articles that this was harvested from to generate this. Can't you? Can almost imagine that, guys. Sent shockwaves throughout the industry, because it jumps all over the place. The wide economy is feeling the effects of the downturn, so it jumps to here. And I thought more people would cotton on to it, honestly. And let's jump over here and we'll have a look at some of the articles here. Have you seen CoffeeZilla's been on Joe Rogan? Check that out if you haven't seen it. It's really good. So we take down the banks. The government are trying to crash the market so they can buy up all the property. Why do they want to do that? I mean, look at that. So they can reduce the rates using your superannuation money. The government doesn't want to buy up all the property. They don't want to control all the property. They already have all of us here stuck to pay taxes. They don't need to own any of your stuff. If anything, a citizenry that owns property and is more invested in their country are more likely to want to protect, fight, and be proudly members of the country. We're getting a huge number of disenfranchised young people now because they can't own a home. That's where it's a stupid mistake for the government doing it, unless you go in there in the whole Australia, socialist approach. Let's have a look here. Travis telling us about a mate in the city that got a $700 increase a month, which is nuts. You'll earn nothing and be happy. So I'm just surprised more. Here we go. First one here. This article felt like something written by AI. There you go. So the first one that noticed it. And if we have a look, I'll bring up a few of the other comments for people that realized it was written by an AI, obviously before I mentioned it after 5 minutes in the article, because that's as far as most people got in, which is not a bad hit rate for my YouTube content. So there we go. The article felt like it was written by an AI. This article has so many contradictions, it could have been written any year. That's it. There you go. There you go. Clickbait got me. So Pete realized. And Blinky Bill asked, how do you know it was a chatbot? Because I used the chatbot, and we'll show you. We'll get it to write something now. Pancakes. I suspect this was written by an AI when you got about halfway through. It was very broad statements, very little granular detail to it. Yeah, that's the thing. It almost felt like a marketing scam for some kinds of Ponzi scheme. Alarm bells were going off. So you've got to train your brain to try and be aware of that, because we're going to see more and more of this stuff. More and more of it is going to be generated. More and more of it is going to be around the place. Interesting that the author was inked out. Now here Dial's going off on a tangent. He's reading way too much into it. It was inked out because I generated it as a draft page on my blog, and I didn't want you to see it was from HeiseSays. That's why it was inked out. Okay? And it just said published by a financial institution. A legitimate financial institution would always identify itself. So this seems to be done by some left-wing uni student using AI, hopefully receiving a doctorate for it. Well, I'm not a left-wing uni student, but you have picked out that it wasn't named and it was used by AI. But a lot of people just engage with it like it was real. So obviously they didn't watch enough of it to realize, or it was just feeding in to their bias or their confirmation bias of a huge crash and correction in the property market, which, considering how high it's gone, I don't blame people for having that position. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's too many externalities that will support the market here in Australia, and I've discussed that in many videos. Pretty much the government has the back. But let's look at how the video is performing. So it's gotten over 6,300 views, 2,400 more than normal. It's even got me 7 subs. And watch hours are up. And I blacked out the money because, I mean, it's good for a YouTube, but embarrassing for real life. If you want to make big money on YouTube, guys, you go the makeup path. You know, the makeup people, they get millions of views. Oh, it's the brand deals. It's crazy. The analytics, it's up 572 hours and 5 minutes and 24 seconds. So most people didn't watch enough of it for me to reveal what was happening here, that it was a chat GPT generated bot. And I asked a poll. I put a poll up just the other day, or probably today, this morning. I've had a bit of a lazy Sunday, guys. So Saturday. I've had a really lazy Saturday. There you go. So I asked people if they realized. No one's commented on that. But I said, do you only consume doom and news? So I'm talking about stuff like Zero Hedge, which is all consistently well, negative news, negative economic news, and there's an audience for it. People eat it up. There is a danger when you just get sucked into this one constant feedback loop of just one argument, one side, one perspective, one approach. Doom, 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 doom. And there's an incentive for creators to create that. If you tap into the US doomer market, the US prepper market, it's huge. You can get lots of views. I've seen YouTubers grow from nothing overnight. But I mean, how comfortable are you spreading bullshit? Here's the real concern. How long will it be before you just spit this into an AI program and then it generates a video and generates content, puts it out there? You've got people creating fake advertisements with Joe Rogan, and they're selling product. So, 33% of the viewers who answered on this, 780 people, said they only consume doomer news. 67% said no. You want to make sure, here's the thing, you want to make sure you don't just get stuck in one information bubble. I know it's frustrating to hear things that you don't agree with, but you've got to at least train yourself to expose yourself to ideas and opinions that you're not comfortable with, even if it's just yelling at the screen, going, this is utterly insane and bullshit. It's cathartic. It's good for you. But you don't want to just be hearing the same thing again and again and again. What are people saying here? No, just the Ukraine and Russia war. You need to hear the news from both sides. News is for normies. Keeps me grounded. Absolutely. Considering the system is about to collapse. It helps me prepare. Third bank collapse in 3 days. Fun times are coming. Yeah, I mean, this is a Silicon Valley bank that's collapsed. Now, they got a whole lot of money from all of these bullshit startups, and bullshit startups weren't taking loans. They invested it long-term income-producing bonds that crashed in value as interest rates went up, and then all of their clients needed their money back, and it's a snowball effect. Okay, so it's a rather unique situation there. Of course, Doomer is the best. Anthony. Joshua is going, I only have a TV for video games and streaming, having watched normal TV for 15 years now. Absolute garbage. People who answer no just don't know what Doomer news is. Well, that could be. That could be. Try not to, but I do love watching house resets. Want to be Kerry Packer investors? Yes. Sort of. Edit true news, you mean? Yeah, the truth sucks. So, guys, here's the thing. Let's have a talk about this. So, I was a little surprised how few people realized that article was generated by a bot. I mean, some people cottoned onto it, but there's over 200 comments on there. Now, we need to be aware when we're presented with something, with information, particularly on social media, you need to dig into it a little bit deeper. Look what is behind what it's referring to, what data is being used. I find a lot of people, particularly over the last few years, those that did their own research, didn't dig very deep. People will often just share a screenshot or a doctored image, and they won't really fact check it. They won't look at the research methodology behind it. They'll just use the appeal to authority, even if it's not a traditional authority figure, to another one, and just depend on that. And it's a bit dangerous. It's a bit concerning. And I think we need to be vigilant for that. How do we teach skepticism to people? There's the question. And if anything, I'd argue we're getting worse at it. With the way younger generations are now clamoring for more and more government and authoritarian control over their lives. Well, you tell me, guys. What do you reckon? So did you realize, when I was going through that article, did you realize it was fake? Can you see it now? Could you see it again? Or would you know if a video was producing it? And, I mean, is it news or is it entertainment? Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on this one. Thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, Heise BIM and Heise Does. And if you're a fan and want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Buy our pocket squares, use our referral links, or call us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now.